I believe it was 1998, and there was a massive cyclone in the Arabian Sea, and I think it was Badin and Tata districts. They were totally devastated. And the Prime Minister told me to accompany him in the helicopter. Here I am, I'm just watching from the helicopter window, and absolutely, totally covered with water. Everything, you could just see water everywhere. And you could see some patches here and there, little islands where people would be kind of clogged together with each other. The cyclone effect is. And then the Prime Minister decides to land on to one of these little islands. So the helicopter comes down. This impression has been imprinted on my mind. I still remember that I came out of the helicopter and the first step onto the ladder, and I see hundreds of people in front of me, barely clothed. And men, women, children, and they were standing like this. This was the first interaction that I had with Pakistan. All this time, all through my journey in London, in the West, in my university, in the government, in my business, I had not met a Pakistani. That was the day that I realized what is Pakistan and what the challenge was. So I again started focusing on rebuilding the team, bringing in more people, smart people, continuing to research, update the data, update the solutions. Technology had changed, more solutions had come in, the world had actually changed. And while I was continuing to solidify all of this, there came an opportunity. And that was in 2010, when unprecedented floods ravaged through bulk of this country, devastated hundreds of millions of people. And I would just turn on the TV and watch helplessly. Being in the government, I knew that the system would not deliver. And being in the government, it kind of made me feel even more responsible. In that situation, the only voice that would come from inside me was that, what have you done?
I got a phone call from Hārun Khwaja, and he said a statement which still sticks with me till today. And the statement was that half of our countrymen are underwater right now, and we're on the other half. And what is our responsibility?
And I gathered a complete team that I was working with. Almost all of them were from private sector. I told them that I think we should go, have a look, and I think we should try to implement some of the solutions that we have been working on all these years. A new planned village, the kind of village that we would like to see in Pakistan, where the roads are straight and roads which are brick paved, where there is proper underground sanitation, where there are parks, where there are children playing, where there is a school, where there is a technical institute, where there are solutions for electricity, gas, where there is no problem of community living in harmony, where there is no problem of law and order, where there is a certain system through which that community is being managed. In 3 months, it took us 3 months, and 25% of the homes were ready, and we just handed over the 25% of homes. It was a 100 home village, and about 25 homes were handed over in 3 months.
फाउंडेशन ने हमारे और हमारे बच्चों के इलाज मुआवजे के लिए बेहतरीन डिस्पेंसरी का इंतजाम किया, बच्चों की बेहतरीन तालीम और तरबियत के लिए स्कूल बनवाए, हमारी जवान बच्चियों के लिए वोकेशनल स्कूल का क्याम अमल में लाया गया, सूरत और साफ सुथरी दुकानें हमें दी गई, हमें पुख्ता साफ सुथरे हवादार जो घर मिले हैं, उनके सामने खुली गलियां बनाए, सोलन ग्रासी प्लाट्स और बच्चों के खेलने के लिए झूले वगैरह का इंतजाम भी किया गया, लाखों रुपए खर्च करके साफ पानी का प्लांट लगा दिया.
Feel their pain. Put yourselves in their position. Ask yourselves what would happen if your own children were involved. And then you will be able to design the policies and design the solutions that will benefit Pakistan.
There's more to it than brick and mortar, and we needed to learn more. We sat down with these people. We asked them what their needs were. Little did I know that it was not the end of the journey. It was actually the beginning of a new journey. We came across this guy. His name was Muhammad Bashir, and Muhammad Bashir was a typical ordinary Pakistani who has no voice. Nobody talks about him. Nobody cares about him. Nobody thinks about him. And, he's just living.
When you're so zoomed out, you're living in Islamabad and making policy there. And then when you go to this village and you meet Muhammad Bashir, it touches you. That's when you start thinking that this new social contract that we always talk about is all about Muhammad Bashir.
We were able to build efficient models and show to society, to government, to the NGOs and to the international aid agencies that we can develop efficient models of development, efficient models of service delivery.
I mean, you got a problem, here's the solution. What's stopping you to implement this solution?
Pakistan is a former colony, and the colonialists do two things. They establish power over people who are less powerful, and they extract more than what they offer in return.
The government is not supposed to rule. It is supposed to serve. You cannot have a system which is geared towards ruling to serve the people.
I have seen it all happen. Prosperity first, when it gets ignored, because when a donor or an occupying force, for instance in Iraq and in Afghanistan, in Syria as we see it now, in Yemen and other places, that the tendency of the donor is to follow the traditional route again, to secure, to reach a political settlement, hold elections, cut and run. And it hasn't worked. We can see these states are collapsing right and left. You have Libya, you have Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen. You can name several countries where this thing has not worked. So prosperity first is probably the way to go. And in order to do that, you need a lot of creative people who can generate these solutions and models where the prosperity happens rather quickly. Once you meet Muhammad Bashir out there, then your agenda becomes much more simple. Then we talk about the community Muhammad Bashir lives in. Then we go on to the local level, we go on to the tehsil level, district level, provincial level, and then on to the federal level. And we have tried to connect it all so that Muhammad Bashir is directly hooked to Islamabad. And Islamabad knows what happens with their policies, how is Muhammad Bashir affected by those policies.
We are trying to solve some of the basic problems of the people, like healthcare. And instead of saying build large, expensive complexes in existing large cities, we are saying that the real problem exists in rural Pakistan, in the small 500,000 population towns of Pakistan. and we have to take the solution there.
We came up with the idea of a mobile health unit. Reach उसकी हो, coverage हो, access हो, efficiency हो, effectiveness हो. This is one example for many of these issues. Mobile health unit have been developed as a fraction of the cost of what has been done in many other similar, I think, initiatives and projects. More emphasis on how the service is delivered, how it reaches the common person, how Muhammad, Bashir and family benefits from that. That is the whole story. It is not just a vehicle. I call it a vehicle for change.
We have definitive timelines, definitive actions. What needs to be done? How long will it take? And with definitive outcomes. What will be the result? As a consequence, the Pakistan project represents a complete solution for Pakistan, and we are very confident in saying that this country can be put back onto the right track in 36 months. At the end of the day, the person who really taught us how to do it was Muhammad Bashir. And that's why today we call Muhammad Bashir the teacher. The seeds for this nation to become one of the greatest nations on this planet are there. You just need to make a few changes. It is the system which is dysfunctional.